understanding the importance of someone who is older and wiser than you. Food bringing everyone together.
Like, this is very interesting, and I even had a black girl come up to me and she was like, this is the first time ever I've you know, heard this side, and I've always been in denial about people from Africa being part of the black, you know, culture here. And she's like, and you know, you really made me think about it, and having that piece in there, and I was just, that really was like, oh really? Because I have those battles with people where it's like, but I am, and not only me, but there are people all around. There's people, you know, and like the quote in there said, there are people in Ghana, there's people in France, there's people all around the world. And if those connections can be made, if only those connections could be made,
right,
you would understand how large and how big this whole entire
and you would stop calling yourself a minority.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, you're all that. You realize the power. And it's like, and bridging that gap has always been like a thing of, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm having that conversation with one of my friends that I went to college with now, and it's like, and he's like, only people can understand how we're so much alike, because at the end of the day, if anything was to happen, if the Klan was to walk in here, I'm gonna be on the same boat as anybody else. You know what I mean? And so the fact that there's this disassociation between the black community and the African community, or you know, anyone of color, it's troubling to me. So that was really nice to have a person tell me how her eyes are open, and the other one to tell me that it's really nice to finally hear that side being told. So I was like, this really is good.
Who identifies as black? Who rejects the label?
What has being black done to the lives in Ghana, France, or Egypt?
You know what I love about black women? Is that we talk more and we express more. What I love about black women is our different skin shades and personalities.
It's hard to look past the hurt and the pain to see the positive. All that hurt better years and centuries deep.
What is a black woman?
Really is about a constant battle to uncover the real truth about who you are. And so how can you live as this, like what you say, as this confident human being? How can you live and walk? You know what I'm saying? If you don't know the complete truth about yourself, you can't walk firm. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be very hard to walk firm if you really have no, like, you're not 100%. Like, you gotta be 100 on like who I am. You know who I am, and think about how much of our history and particularly for women, like, I can't even go past one generation of my, you know, so like my grandparents. Like, beyond that, like, I don't know my great grandmother's name. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And my you know what I mean? So like, if I don't even know that, you know, then we dealing with a whole bunch of stuff that you can't even. You should be able to name it 5 generations back. And when you have a people who can't name that, you have a traumatized people.
We're everything from up, down, and everything in between, and that's okay. And that's what makes us human, and that's what makes all of us connect. And so it's very nice. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. When I first met you, when you first walked into the room and all that, and I was like, oh no, oh my god, I don't know what to do. Like, whenever there's like an interview like that in the room, I'm just like, oh no, and then I become an introvert. Like, even if I'm not, and I just like went back in my shell. I was like, oh my god, what do I do? What do I do? I didn't skip. Like, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Talk to her. Like, am I gonna like? No, for real. I was like, will we actually be able to have a conversation? And I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna work. Like, like, honestly, people that can project their voice, because I'm such a soft-spoken person.
No,
I can't. Shut up.
There you go with that smile again. It's like you hear nothing. But
they're good in spirit. I don't care who you are, you know. And when we get in trouble when it's like, oh well, I'm only going to talk to you if you're this or if you're that. Like I don't give a shit, because like you don't mean that much. Nobody means that much. No one means that much. That you should be beside yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You know, people. You know, they get oh, it's Oprah. You know, Oprah's a human being.
Right. T.T. Branch graduated from the University of Maryland with a bachelor's degree in consumer economics. She was a successful entrepreneur. She had her own hair care line. She even had a public relations firm in her hair care line named Miss Jessie's, who was one of the first to start the natural hair care phenomenon. She was known to giving welcoming spirits with a kind and graceful heart. T.T. Branch committed suicide December 2014.
You can't do certain things when company is over, or you can't do certain things when you're at school. You can't do certain things when you're in this place and that place. So obviously, they are indirectly saying that there is no such thing as a consistent standard throughout every aspect of your life. You have to change yourself and be subject to somebody else's or something else's rules that you have very little, if any, connection to, that you didn't yourself approve or review. And then now you're expected to perform under these guidelines that you really don't really make any sense. And then when you challenge that, somehow or another, you are deemed to be the one that's off or the one that's like crazy or whatever, you know. So that's what doesn't sit well for you when there is an unequal, when expectations are off, and then I'm still required to perform without the direction that I need. And then when I challenge the authority, I'm somehow made to be stupid or ignorant or shamed. Yes, thank you. How dare you challenge?
Yeah.
How dare you ask me why?
Dear black men, I agree to value your voice. Dear black men, I agree to create an environment for you to thrive. Dear black men, I agree to encourage you. Dear black men,
I agree to love you in the present.
We are the echoes of the women who could not speak before us. You know what I'm saying? So all that my mother swallowed, all that my grandmother didn't cuss my granddaddy out about, you know what I'm saying? All that. By the time they get to us, and then they mad because then they like, you saying stuff that I could never say, that I could never do. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta think, it's like, oh, we're way privileged in the sense, like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, you can read. You can go, you know, like when I talk about you can just pick up and jump on a bus or a plane and go somewhere without thinking about nothing, you know, without caring the world. Ain't nobody gonna come up to you. Yes, all of that. So
competition. What? I'm not your competition. Dear black women, I agree to be emotionally available to you and for you. Dear black women, I agree not to write you off just because of a disagreement. Dear black women, I agree not to let my first assumption of you be your reality. Dear black women,
I agree to hear your full story.
Dear black women.
Coming into a room where nobody was like looking at each other like, oh, you girl, oh, let me look you up and down, or let me judge you real quick. Like it was weird coming into a space, and I think that's why it's so important and needed, because it's rare out there. Every time you go into a room, it's so much tension and so much, you know, like from everybody, you know, and coming into that space, into this play, people felt that it was just free, and I think that's why, another reason why it's important, because it's freedom in a sense. It gives people a sense to be free and know their truth, and that's what I feel like a lot of us are like.
I'm saying it's like it should be a course, but you know what I'm saying, in terms of, because again, this, and black people have to understand this, we have been exacted upon within our relationships. We've been exacted upon to learn things that we were traumatized from, and then just, oh, well, then figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you traumatize a people? You know what I'm saying? Traumatize a people in their every waking moment of existence. You know what I'm saying? To the point where they don't trust each other, they don't trust nobody. And then say, oh, okay, well, you know, y'all's free, so, you know, go ahead. Okay, so, like, but what happened to all that mental trauma and all that stuff? Okay, well, that's going to feed over into our relationships vis-a-vis why, you know what I'm saying, generational, why we, you know, you got women, well, I don't trust other women, da-da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? You didn't wake up like that. You didn't wake up So you have to, so it's like you're having to unpack all the shit that was put on you to even cultivate relationships. That's why sisterhood is important.
Today's a special day because I get to cook for my daughter. And today I've decided to make her pancakes.
Lousy.
Lousy. Lousy. Lousy. Lousy. Lousy. Okay, could you stop? Lousy. You know, nowadays everybody wants to be all health conscious. They want to know what's in everything, right? So I guess we need to know what's inside this mix that I'm gonna feed my daughter, right? Yeah. This is looking good. Yeah. This is about self-accountability, responsibility, a desire for more, knowledge. Yeah. Knowing how each of these things,
or know the history behind it. I mean, when I found about Aunt Jemima, you know, like that story for me, like it did something to me. Like every time I walk in a store and I see the box of Aunt Jemima or the thing, I get angry. You know what I mean? Like I get lady, I was at this lady's house. Yeah, I was at this lady's house and she had Aunt Jemima, and I was like, do you know? Like I got in my feelings. Like you got this in your house? Like what? You know what I mean? Like what's wrong with you, black woman? You know? So I definitely think that the knowledge that you can gain, you know what I mean, from supporting this and what you can bring out to the community and teach other people, like it's a ripple effect. Like we know it, you gotta know it, and you can tell somebody else and they can know it.
I think people should support because the more money that they put into it, it empowers black women to be their own entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying, their own advocates and their own entrepreneurs, where they don't go looking for money in other places and then trying to water down the message, which is what a lot of people do. They try to, like, you know, I know because I've even done it on my stuff where I'll be like, you know, I'm an advocate for black women and girls, but then somebody else will be like, well, oh, do you only do black women? And then you find yourself going, women of color, you know what I'm saying? And then after a while you start saying women of color and just being like women. And let's be clear that once you get there, it's different. That's a different, you know, that's a different situation. Yep. So the idea is support, because so that the real stories can be told as opposed to your morality being put on the line for something monetary.
I'm seasoned in my sex. My daughter keeps me young. I'm working doing blocks just to firm up my bone. MO is a beast. Hitting them 50 brothers while my daughter breastfeeds. No sleep, rock her to sleep. When I write my lights, verses in my purse, and my purse got baby white. Sacrifice, I work life, which means I'm nice. Everything in peace, don't mistake me for life. Resume is lengthy, so my words are never empty. My words got pepper pellets, so no fool could ever hit me. Hey, deliver simply, but God is consistent me. Infinitely providing you with others, no enemy. But we see the pretend in the retreat. Holy how out the name of Holy Ghost, which don't be religious. She got the trick to fail. For the bride killer, she's about to unveil. Smell the mommy maker, the mommy love maker. They bathe in the water of Gilead. Yeah.
I love my hair. I love my skin. I love everything that I'm wrapped in. Brown skin, black hair, brown eyes. Yeah. Say, I love it all.
I love it all.
Yes.